So for the last several years, I've been quietly focused on this one real estate strategy that has made me a couple $1,000,000 at the age of 25 years old. And I mean, this business model has really changed my life. This strategy has changed my life. And on this video, I'm going to explain to you what it is. And I'm going to explain to you why smart money is continuing to flip land in 2025 and beyond. So I see these blog posts here and there about how land flipping is not something that you should be doing, or how people are not flipping land anymore. And if anyone's teaching you how to flip land, they don't know what they're doing, or they're trying to sell you something. And that couldn't be further from the truth, because I mean, I have done several deals and still continuously do deals regardless of the time of the market, regardless of the time of who's president, regardless of interest rates, regardless of tariffs, anything like that. And I've been able to consistently do profitable land deals since 2021. And this business model is something that if you don't know what it is, there's probably a reason, because people have been trying to keep it away from you, because people don't want you to know what it is, because it really is that profitable. And anyone I know who is intelligent and who takes their money and actually cares about their money, invests in knowing how to build a land flipping business that is profitable to where they're doing consistent deals. Now, I know people who have done $300,000 years working part-time doing this. And I'm talking about $300,000 profit years. I know people who have $1 million profit years and have this as a full-time business. I personally have had 7-figure profit years in my 20s from this business model. And like I said, it's something that has changed my life. Like, it gives you the time freedom you want, the financial freedom that you want. It allows you to travel around, do whatever you want to do with your life. And this is a skill that you have to learn, because once you learn it, you can always do a deal. And I'm in a place in life where, like, I know that no matter what, I mean, I have my business that runs on autopilot at this point, but no matter what happens for the next, until I'm gone, I can always pick up the phone and do a deal. And having that skill is second to none, because you can pick up your phone, you can work a deal and call a seller who needs to sell. And you can always do that. You can always work a deal. You can always negotiate. And I've seen this to be, for me, just so empowering. So if you're a person that is like working their job and you're like, how do I make some extra money? If you're running a business that is not as profitable as you'd like it to be, the skill of buying a parcel of land at 30 to 50, the skill of buying a parcel of land at 30 to 50% of the market value and then reselling at 80 to 90% of the market value, it's really second to none. And knowing how to talk to people based upon their issues that they're actually having. And so if you don't know the business model, what we essentially do is send offer letters to owners all across the country. And it's really marketing. So direct mail is what we do. That's primarily what I've done. I've spent over $1 million in direct mail over the past few years. And so we'll send them a direct letter. We will indicate our interest for purchasing the property. We'll tell them who we are, what our company does, and how we can serve them. And we'll even include a little bit about who we've helped in the past. And then on the second page, we'll actually include an offer on there. There will be a direct price offer, $50K, $60K, $100K, whatever it may be. That's anywhere from 30 to 50% below the market value that we've calculated from comps that have sold that are like kind to that exact property. And so we essentially get these deals under contract. Once they call us back, we speak to sellers from all over the country. And I use the Pokemon card analogy. Imagine you go to a garage sale and you know that a Pokemon card is $1 million, right? And even the seller knows that it's $1 million, but the seller just wants to get rid of the Pokemon card. They don't really care, right? Or the seller is in a situation where they don't have time to sell it for $1 million. So they give it to you. They sell it to you instead. This is essentially the same thing with the land flipping business. Now, I've dealt with sellers who didn't even know that they had the property in their portfolio. I've dealt with sellers that were in a financial pinch and they needed to sell very quickly. I've dealt with sellers who needed to sell because they were on a tax pinch. I've dealt with sellers whose kids didn't want the property anymore. I've dealt with so many different kinds of profiles at this stage of my career. And so you'd be surprised just how many situations people find themselves in for needing to sell. I've dealt with people that had so much money that they bought a lot and then they bought another lot and then they kind of did. I actually had one guy in particular in Maryland. I remember this guy. He said that him and his wife did tic-tac-toe or eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, him and his wife did eeny, meeny, miny, mo. They bought 2 lots and eeny, meeny, miny, mo the lots. And the lot that he sold me was the lot that lost. So, the situations that you find yourself in with these deals. I mean, it really is amazing and it's interesting. I mean, once you start actually working deals and you start talking to sellers and you start just doing due diligence and learning the art of the deal, it's actually really fun. Like, that's the other thing. It's also just really fun doing a deal. It's really fun figuring out how to solve the problem, figuring out how to actually buy the property. How do we sell this thing? And so the more you do it, I've done hundreds of deals, the more you do it, the better you become at it. And it really is a skill that you develop. Now, one thing I will say is that the land flipping game has changed. So if you watch videos about land flipping before, it is drastically different. But don't let anyone trick you into thinking that land flipping doesn't work, because this will always work. Someone will always have property to sell. Deals will always be made. So anyone that says otherwise, I'm a little bit iffy on like who they are, what their qualifications are, and what they're doing. Now, the other thing, just from an investment perspective, there are not too many other industries where you can buy assets for 30 to 50% of the market value. I mean, that alone is ridiculous. And when you understand how to actually assess value, when you understand how to determine proper market value, even if you're not going to resell these properties, you can hold a property at 30 cents on the dollar. I mean, can you imagine if you can go and buy a $10 million apartment building for 30 cents on the dollar? You can't do it unless you're getting financing, but then again, still, you're not doing that. Can you imagine if you can go buy Bitcoin at 30 cents on the dollar right now? You'd do it in a heartbeat. I know I would, right? Can you imagine if you could just buy certain assets at 30 cents on the dollar? Now, you can do this with land. You can do it with land because sellers always find themselves in situations where they need to sell. And we are always positioning ourselves right there to be the ones that they sell to. And that's what I master in my land business, being positioned always to be the one that the sellers are there to make the deal with, by being the most trustworthy in the space, by having the best branding, by having the best conversations, by following up the most, by being the most respectful, by being the one that really cares about their situation and makes them feel like we really care about their situation. So even if you don't want to flip for profit immediately, you can get in a situation where now you hold assets at 30 to 50% of the market value. So that way, if you wanted to sell later, you could. There have been many deals where I decided, you know what, I'm not going to flip that. I'm going to keep it in my portfolio. And there's thousands of acres that I personally own that I just decided to keep. And so if you want to run the business like that and land bank, you can do that as well. Now, we're in an interesting time in the land business, and the next 3 to 4 months is always the hottest time in the land business. So if you've been looking to grow your land business, if you've been looking to scale your land business, if you've been looking to start your land business, now is the time. I have seen the craziest deals happen from June to October. The craziest deals happen. The biggest cycles of cash collection happen from now until then. So you don't want to miss this gravy train. You really don't. And if you're looking to get started with your land flipping business, book a strategy call me below. I'll help you start, build, or scale your land flipping business in 2025 and beyond. The other thing as well, this business does not discriminate against anyone for their color, their religion, who they are, where they come from, what they believe in. It doesn't care. You just have to follow the principles. You have to follow the strategy. If you follow those things, you will be successful in this business. You just have to work hard. You have to understand the strategy, and you have to apply and double down on the strategy. If you do those things, you're going to be extremely successful. I've taken some of my clients from below average years to multiple $100,000 years in profit. I have clients that will make more than a neurosurgeon makes this year. Land flipping is a way for you to build an exorbitant amount of wealth for yourself in your early 20s. Many of my clients are in their mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, and will be setting themselves up for retirement very quickly. And many of my clients are already traveling and doing things that they want to do and having experiences they want to have because of this business, because of the freedom that this business provides. And so when you're running a business, what smart money does is invest in time, financial freedom, and independence. That's what you want. If you have any money at all, you need to invest in your time, financial freedom, and independence. You want to have those three things. Because if you don't have those three things, then what you are is shackled to something. So if you're at a job, you're giving away your time, you're exchanging it for money, you don't really want to be there. If it's financial freedom, well, you're not in a vehicle that's printing enough cash. And if you were, then you wouldn't feel this financial pressure. And the other thing too is like, if you knew how to do those things, wouldn't you have already done it by now? Like the only reason why I am where I am, the only reason why I've done a couple $1 million of profit worth of deals is because I know what I know and I apply that knowledge. So if you knew what I know, you'd be where I am, but you don't know yet. That's why you have to acquire the knowledge, acquire the skills, and double down on it. Now, the last thing is independence. This idea of having complete control over what you do with your days is, people don't really even discuss this anymore. It's not something that's discussed. People don't discuss it. It's like, it's like a taboo kind of thing. And I don't think you realize that there are millions of people out there that just pick the right vehicle, that do whatever they want with their days, and I'm one of them. I get to do whatever I want with my day. I get to run my businesses. I get to serve my clients. I get to make videos that I enjoy making. I get to spend time with my family. You need to have complete independence over your life. And until you have complete independence over your life, you're not living properly. You don't truly know what it's like to live until you get up in the morning and know deeply in the back of your mind that if you wanted to fly to Beijing, China today, you'd be there tomorrow. No hesitation. That is a different kind of freedom. And that's the freedom that everyone should have, I believe. I believe that everyone should have that level of freedom where they get up in the morning and they say, I want to do this today. And just do it. The trips that I've got booked up for the rest of the year, I woke up one day and I was like, where do we want to go? I'm looking at the map. I want my daughter to see this. I want my wife to see this. Let's go see that. I want to see that. Let's see that. I booked it all in one day. No problem. Why? Because of the time freedom, the financial freedom, and the independence that this business gave me. And so if you want those three things, get in a vehicle that's going to provide you those three things, and land flipping is that vehicle. Now, even more than that, this isn't some business model where you just you can make 5K or 10K. This isn't that. This is a vehicle where you can jump into and you can do a deal where you make $200,000 in profit. I've done that. I've done deals where I've made multiple six figures in profit on just one deal. And it's all about where you're going after. It's all about who to talk to. It's all about how you talk to people. It's all about how they see your company. It's all about how you follow up, of course. But you can enter into this and consistently print cash for yourself. And at times, I will tell you, I remember the first year or so where I was profitable in my land business, it felt like the lottery every time. Every time a $60,000 wire would come in, a $70,000 wire, a $100,000 wire, a $30,000 wire, a $40,000 wire, back to back to back to back to back. Every time these things would come in, it felt like the lottery. And that's a feeling that I feel like many people just don't experience. Most people are so used to that every 2-week paycheck. Most people are so used to that. And it's just if you haven't experienced what it's like to consistently receive 50K wires, 70K wires, and I'm talking about profit, I'm not talking about revenue, 70K, 100K, 30K. If you haven't experienced that, or go pick up a check or get a check delivered to you that's $30,000 or $40,000, you get these things delivered to you. You go sign HUD statements and you see on this HUD what you're making and on that HUD what you're making, the difference. Or you sign a selling HUD statement and you're selling a property for $400,000 and you know that you bought the property for $229,000. These are the deals, and these are the things that forever changed my life, because you realize that money in itself is just a concept. But when we place ourselves in front of the money, in front of the sellers, and we are presented with their problems and we solve their problems, and we're positioned in a way that we're there to solve their problems and there to buy, we always make money. And so no matter what, this is a business that is recession proof. This is a business that is, news proof. It doesn't matter what it is. If you stay consistent in the land business, you're going to be extremely profitable. You're going to have the three pillars of an abundant life: financial freedom, time freedom, and complete independence. You're going to have that. If you're a person that feels like they're kind of drifting around in life right now, you feel like you might be too old, you feel like you might be too young, this is the perfect business for you, because the business doesn't discriminate. So the land business doesn't care if you're 65 years old, doesn't care if you're 70 years old, it doesn't care if you're 17, 18, 19, 20, it doesn't care. You have to learn the skills. You have to apply the skills. You have to double down on the skills, and you will become extremely successful. Is it going to happen overnight? No. But if you learn how to do it properly, if you learn how to talk to sellers properly, if you learn everything there is to know about the ins and outs of marketing and how we market here at LandVerse, you'll be extremely profitable. I make these videos because I want you to win in the biggest way possible for yourself. I want every single dream that you have in your mind, every single visualization, every goal that you've ever set, every trip that you've ever wanted to go, everything that you ever wanted to buy, I want you to be able to have it. And I want you to be able to realize that, like, you can build it brick by brick with the vehicle of the land flipping business. And for me, in my early 20s, I spent my entire early 20s building this business. I dedicated my life to it. I dedicated my entire life to, like, being a deal maker, being someone that builds teams, being really good over the phone, being really good at marketing. I dedicated my entire early 20s to that. So I can tell you from firsthand experience, if you dedicate a good amount of time to this, you're going to go to the top. You're going to make whatever kind of money you want to make, and even more than that. I used land flipping as a vehicle for me to do whatever it is that I wanted to do in my life, and I encourage you to do the exact same thing. And if you want to do the same thing, if you want to build a land flipping business that makes you profitable, that makes you multiple six figures in profit, if not seven figures in profit in the next 18 months, book a strategy call me below. I'd be happy to help you get there. I'll see you in the next video.